When the Brady Bunch premiered in 1969, it quickly became a hit with audiences, thanks to its novel premise and lovable cast of characters. The show lasted 5 seasons, though it could have lasted for a few more if it hadn't been for some bad attitudes amongst the cast and crew. Most felt it was time for the show to end, though it was revived in the form of various spin-offs. The final episode of the series was called The Harebrained Scheme, and it featured a plot so ridiculous that star Robert Reed refused to take part. Join FactsVerse as we explore the scene that took the Brady Bunch off the air. The Brady Bunch was a hit sitcom that premiered in 1969 and revolved around the premise of 2 widowed parents, each with 3 children of the corresponding gender, getting married and forming a new, exceptionally large family. Series creator Sherwood Schwartz claimed he came up with the idea for the sitcom after reading a piece in the LA Times. He claimed that the bit of text that inspired him to come up with the idea was only 5 lines long, but it was enough for him to create a series that lasted for 5 seasons. Upon its premiere, the Brady Bunch became a fairly big success, but the show began waning in popularity slightly during its final seasons. Robert Reed played Mike Brady, the patriarch of the Brady family. Robert had some ideas about why the Brady Bunch wasn't faring so well in the ratings, and some ideas about how he thought the show should be run. He was the pickiest when it came to his criticisms of the show's scripts, but he was far from being the only cast member of the Brady Bunch who had issues with the direction of the series. Several other of the show's stars, including young Maureen McCormick, expressed their frustration at the fact the show seemed to be treading water creatively during its final seasons. Like Robert Reed, Maureen had ideas about how the series might evolve in future seasons, but the creative staff wasn't interested in their ideas. Robert and Maureen wanted the Brady Bunch to become more radical. Both would have preferred for the show to challenge audience members more and incorporate more adult storylines as the children got older. Although the creative staff of the Brady Bunch had certainly started feeling a great deal of boredom with the direction the series was going in its final years, they were neither willing nor allowed to shake things up as much with the show's format as the stars would have liked. Robert Reed's distaste for the show's direction got so bad that the actor had to be written out of the series' final episode. That was called The Harebrained Scheme, and it featured a plot revolving around the character of Bobby selling older brother Greg a hair tonic that turns the elder brother's hair orange just before his high school graduation. Upon receiving the script, Robert balked at the notion that hair tonic could possibly turn someone's hair orange. For his part, creator Sherwood Schwartz claimed he had fact-checked the storyline and found it was indeed possible. The final episode was the 22nd episode of the show's 5th season, and few involved expected the episode to be the show's last. It was the 117th episode overall, and ratings were dwindling by the time it aired. Besides Bobby and his hair tonic, the episode also followed daughter Cindy as she attempted to breed a pair of rabbits, only to find out both of them are boys. Given the surprise nature of the Brady Bunch's cancellation, none of the characters on the series were given ceremonious send-offs during the final episode. If the Brady Bunch had been renewed for a 6th season, Mike Brady would have either been written off the show or Robert Reed would have been recast. Robert's distaste with the harebrained scheme and general direction of the series wasn't the only reason the Brady Bunch didn't end up making it past 5 seasons, but the actor's criticisms certainly didn't help matters. Today's video is sponsored by Keeps. If you're anything like me, you've struggled to keep a full head of hair. 2 out of 3 men will experience hair loss by the time they're 35. But it doesn't have to be that way. Keeps is a subscription service that helps men like us keep our hair. They offer clinically proven, research-backed treatments to stop hair loss and improve hair growth. And most of their customers notice results within 6 months of starting. With Keeps, you can get quality, expert care without ever visiting a doctor's office or pharmacy. All Keeps treatment plans are doctor-recommended and delivered straight to your door at about half the cost of a traditional pharmacy. It's time to stop stressing over your hair loss. Hair loss stops with Keeps. To get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/factsverse or click the link in the description. That's keeps.com/factsverse. The main reason the show didn't go on was that the cast had only been signed on for 5 seasons, and the creation of a 6th would have entailed potentially costly renegotiations of their contracts. Given the fact the show's ratings weren't what they had been, the network decided that forming new contracts and continuing the Brady Bunch wasn't worth it. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First for more, and stick around for more about the Brady Bunch's last episode. Robert Reed expressed his negative feelings towards the plot of the Brady Bunch's final episode in a memo to Sherwood Schwartz. Doing that was a common practice for the star, as he'd made a habit of being overly critical at the series' various plot lines and generally stagnant trajectory. When Robert sent his memo to Sherwood, he had likely expected the creator was going to bend over backwards to change the episode's plotline to please him. But by that point, Sherwood had grown tired of Robert's increasing demands. Once it became clear changes weren't going to be made, Robert had his agent call up Sherwood and tell him the star wasn't planning to participate in the filming of the episode. Robert was sure he'd get his way, but Sherwood ended up simply writing the character of Mike Brady out of the episode. This reportedly led to some uncomfortable interactions on set, as Robert showed up to watch the show being filmed, even though he had no intention of taking part. According to Robert, he did this because he cared about the series and wanted to know how the episode was going. There was talk amongst the creative staff of having the actor physically removed from set, but this was ultimately decided against, as it would have traumatized the child stars who had come to view their on-screen father as a real-life father figure. They ended up convincing Robert to leave on his own volition, with the actor having no idea he had just missed out on taking part in the Brady Bunch's very last episode. Even though the Brady Bunch ended after its 5th season, the series has lived on in the hearts of audiences and has been revived in the form of various reboots and films. One of the first big revivals came not long after the cancellation of the original, with the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. It premiered in 1976, only 2 years after the original series ended. The Brady Bunch Variety Hour was technically an actual sequel series to The Brady Bunch, as it featured a plotline that took place in the same universe and continued the plot of the original series. Although the format of the show was simply musical and comedic sketches, the in-universe plotline followed the Brady patriarch quitting his job and taking his family to Hollywood to become stars. All of the original cast returned with the exception of Eve Plumb. While most of the returning cast didn't prove too fond of it, this wasn't the case for Robert Reed. Although he had begun to hate his time on the Brady Bunch by the series' end, he took a much more favorable attitude when it came to filming the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. He had always preferred stage acting to acting on television. The Brady Bunch Variety Hour only lasted 1 season and didn't do very well. Nowadays, the series is viewed as a cult oddity and is made fun of more often than it's enjoyed. The Brady Bunch was also revived in the form of an animated spin-off, The Brady Kids, as well as the 1980s series The Brady Brides, which was preceded by a made-for-television reunion film called The Brady Girls Get Married. In more recent years, the films The Brady Bunch Movie and A Very Brady Sequel have helped love for the Brady Bunch carry on into the future. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know that the Brady Bunch star Robert Reed had to be written out of the series' final episode? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.